वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थ प्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ. So we'll start with singing Chandrasekhar Ashtakam. Chandrasekhar. There are 15 kalas of the moon, and then there is the 16th cusp. That cusp is the foundation or the basis for the 15 kalas. So the 15 kalas are the changing aspects of the moon, but all those changing aspects rely on that 16th cusp. That 16th cusp is what Mahadev and the Divine Mother wear on their crown. From that is the entire life. Because if that 16th cusp is not there, that Nitya Kala is not there, then all the other 15 kalas will not be there. So when Markandeya Rishi was being captured by death, Yama, he called out to Mahadev in the form of Chandrasekhar. Chandrasekhar representing the Chandra, representing immortality. Because that immortal aspect, that unchanging aspect is the foundation for all the changes of the moon. So he called out to Chandrasekhar. So I'll be singing it. If you know, sing along, but have your eyes closed and let us visualize that scene when Markandeya Rishi, merely 16 years old, was told by his parents that today is the last day. His mother was crying bitterly because she knew that Shiva had given the boon that 16th year is going to be his last. She was crying bitterly. The father was sad, grief-stricken. But from the beginning, the sanskar given to Markandeya were such that he was told that no matter what, it is not impossible for Lord Shiva. He can do anything. So his conviction, his faith in Lord Shiva was such that, mother, don't cry. Don't cry, father, don't be grief-stricken. Because the one who has given me life can extend my life too. I'm going to call upon him. So he went to the riverside, and he made a shivling out of sand. He made shivling out of sand, and then he started doing his puja. While he was mentally offering these flowers, while he was performing his puja, Yam, the Lord of Death, he came and he put his pash. Well, before he put his pash, he said, okay, Markandeya, your time is up. Mrikandu's Rishi's son was Markandeya. He said, Markandeya, your time is up. You need to come with me. And Markandeya said, I am performing my puja. He didn't even reply. Yama again yelled at him and saying, your time is up. I am here to take you. But he continued to perform his puja. This disrespect totally drove him crazy, the Yam. So Yamraj put his pash, which is his lasso, around Markandeya. But Markandeya had held the shivling to his heart. Holding both his arms around the shivling, he had held the shivling to his heart. This signifies that the kind of attachment we need to have to the divine that dwells within us, as us, in us, as us. So he held the shivling tight, the shivling touching his heart, singing this stuti. So, if you were Markandeya and if you were holding the shivling close to your heart, what kind of feelings, what kind of emotions would it evoke? With those emotions, listen to this stuti. And the most beautiful line of this stuti is, Chandrasekharam ashraye mama kim karishyati vayamaha. I am at the refuge of my Chandrasekhar. To the one who is at the refuge of the Chandrasekhar, of the divine within. Kim karishyati? What can anyone do? What harm can anyone bring to a person who is at the refuge of the divine within? Kim karishyati vai Yamaha? Oh Yama, what can you do to me? I am at the refuge of my Chandrasekhar. Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara pahi mam. Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara rakshamam. Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara pahi mam. Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara rakshamam. Ratnasanusharasanam rajatadrishankaniketanam Shinjanīkrutapannageshwaramachyuta nalasayakam Kshipradagdha spuratrayam Tridashalayairavhivanditam Chandrasekharamashraye mama kim karishyati vai Yamaha Panchapadapa-pushpagandha padambujadvayashobhitam Phalalochana jata pavaka dagdhamanmatha vigraham Bhasmadigdha kalevaram bhavanashanam bhavamavyayam Chandrasekharamashraye mama kim karishyati vai Yamaha Maktavarana charma krutotariya manoharam Pankajasana padmalochana pujitangra saroruham Devasindhutarangashikarasikta shubhrajatadharam Chandrasekharamashraye mama kim karishyati vai Yamaha Yaksharajasakham bhagaksha haram bhujanga vibhushanam Shailarajasuta parishkruta charuvama-kalevaram Kshvela-nilagalam parashvadharinam mrugadharinam Chandrasekharamashraye mama kim karishyati vai Yamaha Kundalikruta kundaleshwara kundalam vrishavahanam Naradadimunishwarastuta vaibhavam Bhuvaneshwaram Andhakantakamashritamara padapam shamanantakam Chandrasekharamashraye mama kim karishyati vai Yamaha Bheshajam bhavaroginamakhilapadaamapa harinam Dakshayagnya vinashanam trigunatmakam त्रिविलोचनं भक्तिमुक्तिफलप्रदं सकलासगङ्गनिबर्हणं चन्द्रशेखरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यमः भक्तवत्सलमर्चितं निधिमाक्षयं हरिदम्बरं सर्वभूतपतिं परात्पर प्रेमयमुनतं नमं सोमवारुणभूहुताशन सोमपानिलखाकृतिं चन्द्रशेखरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यमः विश्वसृष्टिविधायिनं पुनरेव पालनतत्परं संहरन्तमपि प्रपञ्चमपेशलोकनिवासिनं क्रीडयन्तमहर्निशं गणनाथयूथसमन्वितं चन्द्रशेखरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यमः मृत्युभीतमृकुण्डुसूनुकृतस्तवं शिवसन्निधौ यत्र कुत्र च यः पठेन्न हि तस्य मृत्युभयं भवेत् पूर्णमायुररोगतामखिलार्थसम्पदमादरम् चन्द्रशेखर एव तस्य ददाति मुक्तिमयन्तनः. The last verse is the Phalashruti, and it says Mrityu Bhita Mrukundusuna. Mrukundu's son, Rishi Mrukundu's son, which is Markandeya, out of fear of death, Krutu's Tavam is doing this stuti in Shiva Sannidhav, in the presence of the divine within. Mrukundu's son, Markandeya, who is extremely scared of death, is doing this stuti. Yatra kutra chaya pathennaha hi tasya mrityu bhayam. With the faith, with the firm conviction that wherever this stuti is being sung, no kind of mrityu bhaya, there will be no kind of fear of death. Chandrasekhara eva tasya dadatu muktimayantataha, because the divine within alone can give the refuge from any kind of fear, the fear of death being the superlative degree, the extreme death. What's the worst that could happen? We could die. That's the fear we all hold. So the divine within, the refuge of your own self, the refuge of the divine within is the highest. Because when he sang this stuti, when he composed this stuti, he was holding Shiva close to his heart. And at the end of the stuti, Mahadev appeared. Mahadev appeared, and with his left leg, he hit the chest of Yama. He hit the chest of Yama, and with the right hand, he held Markandeya close to him, signifying that whoever is in the refuge of the divine, any harm coming to them is first eliminated by the Divine Mother, which is why he hit Markandeya with his left leg. With his left leg signifying anyone touching my devotee, the one who is in my refuge, anyone coming close to that, the Divine Mother will first become enraged. because the protection of the children is her job. Once she protects, then Mahadev, Jagat Pita Parmeshwar, then says, come to me, come in my refuge. Such is the glory of the refuge of Parvati Parmeshwar, the Divine Mother and the Father being the Guru, Mother being the Guru. Chandrashekharam ashraye mama kim karishyati vayyamaha. I am in the refuge of the Divine within me. What can touch me? Who can touch me? Walk with that conviction in the world. Like I said, if we only seek refuge in the morning and evening, and all throughout the day we are in the world performing our worldly duties, then we are bound to experience fear, we are bound to experience insecurity. The goal of all sadhana is to establish that constant connection. Little bit of japa, little bit of roop dhyan. Because no one performs works continuously. Everyone gets downtime. And that connection is established in a moment, fraction of a second. Jagannatha. That's it, established. Back to work. As you are working, Mother, I'm doing your work. This is all I'm doing for you. This is all I'm doing using your power. Under your guidance, under your shelter. Mother, I'm with you. I'm yours. I'm doing this for you. Be mine. Constant. If the mind has a chit-chatting habit, it has been blessed with that, to chit-chat with the Divine within. If the mind has the power to imagine, give it the work of imagining. Give it the work of imagining the form of the Divine Mother, the form of your Isht. If it has the habits of reminiscing memories, let it reminisce all the Leelas. Let the mind become the greatest devotee of the three worlds. Such a great is the refuge of Chandrasekhar. But let me tell you today the other side of this Lord Shiva. Of course, he is Father of the universe, ultimate refuge, but he has a naughty side to him. And in today's satsang, I will reveal the naughty side to you. And here, use the power of your mind to reminisce these beautiful stories and enjoy them. Keep the conscious mind aside. Did this really happen? What if this was not true? Keep it all aside. And no more gyan for the rest of the satsang. It's only the naughty side of Mahadev. And the persistent lover that Mother Divine is. So let us travel back to those times after the Divine Mother as Sati had left her body. Mahadev was in the pain of separation because his own Shakti had expressed outside and he was having a great time with her. Because love can only be expressed when there is a little bit of distance. So he had created that distance willfully with his own Shakti, with his own self. But then she had dropped her body and she had become one with him. So he could only experience her in deep meditation. So then he took off to the Himalayas in one of the farthest cave, and he sat there in deep meditation, hoping to heal this pain of separation from his own self. He sat in deep meditation, being one with himself. But of course, the gods always conspire, and Mother had already taken the form as Ma Parvati, and the gods were conspiring that their love story needs to begin, because if their love story begins, there will be some hope of their union, and there will be some hope of their child coming and destroying this Tarkasur who has been taking over the Lokas. So their problem was theirs. But here was the Divine Mother who had already expressed herself as Ma Parvati. Most beautiful. Most beautiful. She was just 6-7 years old. 6-7 years old. Mahadev was already in the Himalayas meditating. Most beautiful Bala Swarup, decked up like a princess. And Himavan Raja, who was her father. Himavan Raja was her father, and who would just, unlike Daksh Prajapati, Daksh Prajapati, although did lot of tapasya to get the Divine Mother as his daughter, had forgotten that she is the Divine Mother, she has to ultimately reach Lord Shiva. But unlike him, Himavat Raja would just admire her because he knew she was the Divine Mother who had graciously accepted to become his daughter. Such is the glory of the Divine Mother. When a devotee worships her and says, Mother, although you are my mother, I want to give you that motherly love and affection as my daughter. She agrees. She agrees to come as the daughter. So she came as the daughter of Himavat Raja. She was just 6-7 years old. Beautiful princess, decked up in jewelry, playing around in the palace. And the king would forever admire her beauty. And Adi Shankaracharya says that, although in Lalita Sahasranam it says that your chin cannot be described, the beauty of your chin cannot be compared to anything. He says, Mother, your chin is like the handle of a mirror. When you were young, a princess in the Bala Swarup, Himavat Raja would constantly hold that chin and admire your beauty. Lovingly, with the Vatsalya Bhav, with the motherly, paternal affection, he would hold your chin and he would admire you. So mother, 6-7 years old, beautifully decked up like a princess, running around in the palace of Himavat Raja. And Himavat Raja would forever, hours together, observe her, admire her beauty, be in Divyanubhuti. He would imagine mother around the house. There was a Siddha in Andhra Pradesh who was a great Srividya Upasak, and he only got to Bala Mantra initiation. But that Bala Mantra he would chant so much so that mother would play in her house. There was a time when a person who sells bangles came to their house, and all the women of the house got the bangles. And the women counted how many people got the bangles, and at the end the person who was selling the bangles came to this person and said, I would like to be reimbursed for all the bangles that I sold. He said, okay, tell me, how many women did you give bangles to? He said 7. And then he called his wife. He said, he's saying 7, but there are only 6 women in the house, his wife and some other women. So then she said, yes, there were only 6 people. But the bangle person said, no, there were 7. There were 7. He said, okay, tell us, who did you see? He said, I saw your wife was there, your wife's sister, and their two daughters. There were 6. And then there was this other girl. She was maybe 9 years old, 7, 8, 9 years old, beautifully dressed like a princess. She was also there. The Siddha, or the mother's devotee who was doing the Bala Mantra, started shedding tears of joy, because he knew who had come to wear those bangles. It was the mother who he was worshipping as the Bala Tripura Sundari, who was walking around playing with the other girls in the house. Mother had made his house her abode. She was living in that house, playing with the other girls. And then started a series of incidents in his life. He would see her playing with his young daughters. Mother of the universe, comes and stays in the devotee's house as his daughter and plays. I'm sorry. And then he would see her fanning him at night. That's what his daughters would do. They would fan him at night. Mother would join them, fan him at night. With her beautiful small hands, she would stroke his hair. His entire life she stayed as that 9-year-old girl in his house, playing around. At the last moment of his life, he heard the payal. Mother came dancing to him, took his head, put it in his lap, and he breathed his last. Such is the glory of the Divine Mother. No, such is the glory of the devotion. Bhakti gamya bhakti vasya bhavaka prachodini bhavani bhakta sukhadayini. Such is the glory of devotion. It ties her, bhakti vasya, bhakti gamya. He lived a long life, and the whole life Mother lived with him in his house. A 9-year-old girl running around, doing everything only he could see. She ate in his house, she played in his house, she stroked his hair, she fanned him at night. Glory of devotion. Anyway, we were talking about the naughty Lord Shiva. Let's go back to the naughty Lord Shiva. So Mother was growing. When she was 16 years old, Narad Rishi came. Being in the house of Himavat Raja, she followed all the Shishtachar. She didn't say, I'm the mother of the universe, you come and bow down to me. When Narad Rishi came, she washed his feet. In welcoming him, she washed his feet. And even Narad Rishi knew who she was. But to show to the world what Shishtachar is, he let her do it. In his heart, Narad Rishi, in his heart, he had switched the roles. In his bhav, he was situated as the mother was sitting and he was washing her feet. Bhav is more important than what's actually happening. And then Narad Rishi said to Himavat Raja, your daughter, so beautiful. You know, the groom is already in your territory, is already here in the Himalayas. What are you waiting for? Your daughter should go and be in his service. That way she can woo him. You know, she's so beautiful. Look at him, he's sitting in some cave. Just start sending her slowly for all the seva, just to collect flowers, just to, clean his area, just all that. And he will fall in love with her. He will fall for her. Who cannot fall for Triloka Sundari, Tripura Sundari? If there is beauty, it starts with the Divine Mother. It starts with my mother. Beauty starts there. So he says, why don't you start sending her there? Himavat Raja said, yes, you're right. She's 16 years old now. I have to start thinking about her wedding, and I know for a fact she is made to get married to him. So he calls his daughter, again very lovingly, holds her chin and he says, "Oh my beautiful princess, it's time that you go into service of this Parmeshwar who is here doing severe penance. Just go there every day, collect flowers for his puja, and just be in his service." Of course, she said, "As you say, father." So then Himavat Raja brings his daughter, Ma Parvati, to Mahadev. And he says, you have graced your presence in my area, in my kingdom. Let me be of some service to you. I'm going to leave my daughter here. She's going to be in your service. Just collect flowers for your puja. Just collect kusha grass for your asan. Clean up your cave that you're living in. Just that kind of thing. She won't disturb you. She'll just be in your service. So he thought, why not? Let her be in my service. So there he was, the yogi, doing his severe penance. And there she was, like a komal lata, like a tender creeper, 16-year-old, most beautiful princess. Beautiful hair, beautiful jewelry, decked up as the most beautiful princess in his presence, sweeping his cave for him, collecting flowers for him, for his puja, collecting kusha grass for his asan, bringing water from the stream, just being in his service. He was least bothered. He didn't even look at her. He was so situated in his penance. But while he was meditating, she couldn't stop looking at him. The macho man that he was, well built, perfect posture, beautiful matted locks, beautiful fair skin, the three eyes, the lotus eyes, especially after he closed them in meditation, they were neither fully closed nor fully open. They just half closed, as if just a bud of a lily. Beautiful eyes. So he would be in meditation, and before his meditation she would perform all this work and then sit for hours admiring him. And he was completely inward, unaware what's happening outside. And here was Mother Parvati falling helplessly in love with this yogi, because she was his eternally. And here she was falling in love with him. He was least affected, least bothered, and here she was, couldn't take her eyes off of him. Again, the next day she would go to collect flowers. As she's collecting flowers, although the actions are happening, her mind is engrossed in the beauty of her beloved, of the one she is helplessly falling in love with. She keeps thinking of his eyes. She keeps smiling to herself as she's picking those flowers, as she's collecting the water from the stream for his kamandal, as she's collecting kusha grass for his asan, as she's sweeping the cave. All she can think of, although the body is performing actions, she is engrossed in the love of her beloved. This went on for many, many, many years. And then the devas thought, wait a second, she has helplessly fallen in love with him. He hasn't even noticed her. This yogi that he is, totally inward that he is, we need to somehow make him love struck. So then they hired this guy, Kamdev. And they tell Kamdev, all your job is, when he opens his eyes for his puja and all, just, like the emoji we have, the heart with the arrow, just make that happen. So that's what he does. He hides himself, and then when he is sitting on his asan and she is sitting in front of him, just, of keeping the flowers ready for his puja, getting all the stuff ready for his puja, he strikes the arrow. And then Mahadev is love struck for a few seconds. Then he observes her beauty. He sees what an unearthly beauty she is. Trailokya Mohana Chakra Swamini. She is Triloka Sundari, Tripura Sundari. He sees how her hair is dark, curly, shiny. How the curly hair is falling on her forehead. How her face, her forehead is beautifully lit like the Chandrama. He sees her eyes for the first time and he is mugdha. He is mohit. He sees her unearthly beauty, the gentle ornaments that she has worn, the delicate ornaments that she has worn, the delicate arms that she has. What Adi Shankaracharya says, that you're looking at the Nabhi, you're looking at the Vakshasthal and you're getting mohit. Same thing happened to him. He looked at her. He was completely overtaken by love. Instantly, love at first sight. And then she looked at him. This was the first time in serving him for so many days that his eyes and her eyes were in something we call the eye lock. And then that love that they both experienced, it was unearthly. Just then, the awareness that was lost for a few seconds came right back, because he was a yogi. His awareness cannot leave him. His awareness came back and he said, wait a second, where did this come from? And that's when he realized that Kamdev had appeared, and then you know what happened next. Bhasma Manmatha Vigraham. He completely destroyed with his third eye. The third eye is the eye of knowledge, eye of awareness. He destroyed Kamdev. And he just got up and walked away. His typical way of doing things. Get up and walk away and go in deep meditation somewhere. That's what he did. And here is the Divine Mother, Mahaparvati, in the pain of separation, crying bitterly in pain of separation. And then this whole thing, goes viral, and Himavat Raja finds out that this is what has happened. Then he comes, and then Ma Parvati is crying bitterly. She describes what all happened. And then she says, now I cannot live without him. Now I cannot live without him. I want him as my husband. She says, absolutely. That's when Narad Rishi comes to their house, and Narad Rishi says, whatever you want. Now, because anytime Narad Rishi comes, he comes as the guru. And again, she washes his feet. But this time, he sees the sadness in her. He says, whatever you are sad for, no matter what you want, you can only get it by tapas. Hearing this, she says, I'm going to go. I'm going to go for tapas. Listening to this, the mother, Menka Devi, comes. Mena Devi, not Menka. Mena Devi comes and says, no, I cannot send you. You are a princess. How will you go do tapas? She says, I have to go. That I have made up my mind. I will go. And in that crying, in that weeping mode, Mena Devi says, ooh, Ma. Ma says, don't. Ooh, it's just the sound she makes. She says, ooh, Ma. And Ma Parvati says, Uma, that is my name. I have to go. Because Ma is Om. Uma is Om's Shakti. I have to go. Saying this, she sets off. And she does Ghor Tapasya. As she sets off, Mahadev finds out, she's coming to get me. And then he starts bothering her. Sometimes he comes in the form of, a rishi, and he says, where are you going for tapas? You are a princess. You should go back to your palace. You should go and get married to a great king. What are you going to do tapas for? Go back. And she says, no, my tapas is to get my husband. and my husband is Parmeshwar. I'm going to do tapas for her. So many times during her tapas, he keeps coming to bother her. And then after a long, severe penance, severe tapas, there comes a time when she is very, very close to her goal. That's when he comes one final time. And he says, as a rishi he comes. So because he's a rishi, she makes him sit down, washes his feet, gives him water. Then he says, what are you doing? You are a princess. You belong in the kingdom. You belong in the kingdom, in the comforts of royal kingdom. What are you doing here? She says, I'm willing to give up everything for my beloved. I only want my husband. I only want Parmeshwar as my husband. Then he says, what Parmeshwar? Look at you. You are Trilok Sundari. You are a Tripur Sundari. Beauty starts with you. And look at him. Completely Bhasma Dharan. He lives in the Shmashan. He is totally Amangal and you are Mangala. What are you doing? And then she says, all the Amangal is the source of Mangal. He realizes that everything eventually becomes Bhasma. That's why he is in the Shmashan. And so on and so forth. He keeps saying something bad and she keeps trying to say, no, it is this way. Finally, she gives up and she says, I have heard enough about my Parmeshwar, about my beloved. Now I cannot hear a word about him. I am done serving you. I am done debating this thing with you. Excuse me, now I am done with you. And she is walking away to her little cottage that she has, little kutir, the little hut she has. She is walking away. And this rishi holds her hand from the back. As soon as she feels the touch of this rishi, she is furious. How can someone touch me? Boiling with anger, she turns around. She turns around to see it is Mahadev, the naughty Lord Shiva. As soon as she sees him, it's like the rays of the sun just hit butter and the butter just melts. So as soon as she sees him, she's been waiting to see him. She remembers that form, she has served that form. And as soon as she sees him, as if melting away completely, all the anger, the heat of the anger, it's like it just melts her completely. But she is a kulastri. She is not, modern day woman who will just look at him. But she is completely drenched in shyness. She can't look at him, neither can she drop it. She wants to look at him because she has waited so long to even take one glance at him. But at the same time, she is so shy she can't look at him. So Kalidas Rishi in Kumar Sambhavam, he says mother is so shy. She keeps turning away from him and she keeps looking at him. She keeps turning away, keeps looking at him. And he says, this pranay, this love of Jagat Pita Parmeshwar and Jagan Mata, may this love that's flowing in this beautiful scene that he is holding her hand and she keeps looking at him and takes her eyes off of him out of being so shy. Let this love become the love of our life. So this is Mahadev. And then he finally brings her close to her and he says, now you are mine. Now come with me. And she says, no, it doesn't work like that. I am the daughter of Himavat Raja. This tapas was for you to agree to get married to me. Now come and get married to me according to the Shastras, according to the Vidhi. Come and ask. And saying this, she says, now let go of me. Don't behave this way. You are the Jagat Pita Parmeshwar. Don't behave this way. Let go of me. You're not allowed to touch me like this. Let go of me and perform and according to all the vidhis, come and seek my hand in marriage. Saying this, she goes back to her kingdom, happy. She goes back and tells her father, I have won him. Now he is going to come and seek my hand in marriage. So then there is Mahadev back in Kailash now. Now he is just dreaming of her. All this time she was dreaming of him, and now he was dreaming of her, because now she's just smiling in love. But now he's dreaming of her. Oh, when will I get married? When will I get married? But she asked me to do it according to the Shastras. I don't even know what the Shastras are. I'm a yogi. I have renounced everything. Let me call all the Saptarishis. So he summons all the Saptarishis and he says, Parvati says I have to perform the Shastras to get married to her. Tell me, what are the Shastras? Then they all smile and they say, don't worry, we will take care of this. So one of the Saptarishis and his wife, they say, we will go and seek her hand in marriage for you. We will pretend to be your parents, because you are anath. You have no father, no mother. You are anath. So we will go as your parents and we will seek your hand. So of course the Saptarishi and his wife, they go and they seek her hand for their son, Lord Shiva. Of course, lovingly, happily, joyously, Himavat Raja and Meena, the queen, they agree for the marriage. So then they come back and they say, oh Lord Shiva, Mahadev, we have good news for you. They have agreed for the wedding, and according to the Shastras, the Muhurt is in 7 days. Hearing this, Lord Shiva says, really? 7 days? Is there no Muhurt tomorrow? Because he is now so eager to get married to her. They say, no, the Muhurt is 7 days. Then he says, 7 days? How am I to spend 7 days without her? The yogi that he was, meditated for years together without her. Now he is extremely eager to get married to her. He says, 7 days? How am I to wait 7 days? He says, well, according to the Shastras, the Muhurt is 7 days later. He says, all right, I'll wait. And then there he is, dreaming of her. And then he says, you know, I can just go as someone different and just go and visit her. Then he takes the form again of a Brahman and he says, let me go. As soon as this Brahman arrives in Himavat Raja's kingdom, Himavat Raja says, oh, this is a Brahman. We need to welcome him properly. We need to feed him. So he summons the daughter and he says, you know, this Brahman has come. Let's take care of him. So, of course, mother has seen him inside out. As soon as Ma Parvati sees the Brahman, she knows the thief is back again just to meet me. And then she says, you know what, you can serve him. I'll be here. Go serve him. Then Himavat Raja says, no, that's not the way. You have to come serve him. You are the daughter of the house. You have to come serve him. So then they both go to the Brahman, and the Brahman is just looking at the daughter. And the Himavat Raja says, this is my daughter. She's going to be getting married soon. She seeks your blessings. And mother is just smiling, not looking at him. And he desperately wants her to look at him. But she is a Kula Stri. She is not going to look at him because she has Maryada that she doesn't want to cross. He has crossed because he is a yogi. He has renounced it all. Shamelessly he has come here. But she is very careful. She's not even lifting her eyes. She just does namaskar and he is dying for her to lift her eyes so they can have a love lock. But it's not happening. So then he says, I will bless your daughter. It is my wish that your daughter cooks food for me and serves me. And then she's like, really? Then she cooks the food for him. And as she's cooking, she's just smiling. And then she goes and serves all the food to Mahadev. And he is just hoping that she will just raise her eyes and look at him. But she just has her eyes lowered and she's just feeding him, serving him food. And he is happily eating, hoping that she would look. But she is not looking. She is my mother. He's a Kulastri. Maryada is her second name. She's not going to look. Her name is Lajja. She's not going to look, but he's trying so hard. She's not looking. Just imagine Mahadev sitting as a Brahman, eating. He's not really eating. He's not there for food. He's just there to look at her, to enjoy her company, because he can't wait 7 days. There he is, waiting and waiting and waiting for her to look. आपकी आँखों में कुछ महके हुए से राज हैं, आपसे भी खूबसूरत आपके अंदाज हैं, आपकी आँखों में कुछ महके हुए से राज हैं, आपसे भी खूबसूरत आपके अंदाज हैं, आपकी आँखों में कुछ. And so Himavat Raja comes, offers him lot of things as a Brahman. And then Mahadev has to leave because he has no other reason to stay back. And mother is just smiling to herself, thinking, all those years I was there looking at you, you didn't even look at me. You get what you do to others. So then she's just smiling. She's like, you know what? Suffer a little bit. See how it feels. And so finally the day comes for marriage. And we all know what happens. He comes and Meena Devi goes crazy seeing his Swaroop, and then he takes the form of the most beautiful groom. And now he is dying to see her. And you know, as are the rituals, there is a piece of cloth in between the groom and the bride. And he is dressed up beautifully. And he is waiting to take one glance at her. And mother is dressed up so beautifully. Beautiful hair, parted in the middle, ready for the sindoor. Decked with all kinds of flowers. Beautiful small curls falling at the forehead. Beautiful mukut, a crown, studded with so many jewels. A beautiful red dupatta on top, covering her. Does mother need any makeup? Eyebrows are perfect. Beautiful red tilak. Eyes with kajal. Beautiful nose earrings, nose rings, beautiful jhumka earrings, red lips. The cheeks are red because she is so shy, embarrassed at whatever Shiva is doing to take one look at her. Just thinking about how he's going to look at her, she is blushing. Her eyes are twinkling. She cannot stop smiling, but being a Kulastri, very, very gentle smile. She's holding her smile. Gently she's smiling. Dressed in a beautiful red sari. Bunch of necklaces, beautiful bangles. She has the sari tied in the Maharashtrian style, the Nawari, covering her ankles. Beautiful payal. The baju band, the anklets, the waistband. Beautiful Divine Mother, standing across from Mahadev, only a piece of cloth separating the two. Mahadev is eager to look at her. Her eyes are lowered. He has been dying to see those eyes. He's had no chance so far. Just this thin veil between them two. Brahmadev is the Purohit. Mother's ears are closed by the hands of Lord Vishnu because he is the one doing Kanyadan. Mother Saraswati and Lakshmi are on each sides. All the Ganas are dancing in joy. Har Har Mahadev, Har Har Mahadev. All the Devas are offering flowers. Gandharvas and Kinnaras, they're all playing celestial music. This is the divine union of Jagat Pita Parmeshwar and Jagannmata. Beautiful mandap, studded with jewels, raised high, many levels, many steps bring to the mandap. The entire area flooded with flowers, music, all the Ganas dancing in joy. Vednad, Lord Brahma's voice, saying all the mantras. Mother Divine, most beautiful. Mother Saraswati and Lakshmi on each side. Lord Vishnu behind the Divine Mother, covering her ears. Mahadev on the other side, and a veil between. As soon as the veil drops, as soon as Brahmadev says that mantra and the veil drops, Mahadev's garland and Mother's garland. The first garland is Mother's. Mother puts her garland on Mahadev. Mahadev puts his garland on Mother. Flowers and akshat from all over are poured on the blessed couple. Mother's ears are covered, protected by the hands of Lord Vishnu. Har Har Mahadev, Namah Parvati Pataye, Har Har Mahadev. The entire creation is rejoicing. The entire creation is rejoicing. Mahadev is still waiting, hoping to see her smile, hoping to see her eyes, but he is getting none of those. Then after the wedding, they are seated together. But her eyes are lowered and she is not smiling. That's when Mahadev calls one of his Ganas, whose name is Tund. His name, all the Ganas don't really have names. But this Gana has a name because he has learned the dance from Mahadev. Because Tund learned the dance from Mahadev, that's why Mahadev's dance became Tandav. He summoned Tund and he said, "Can you dance a little bit? Maybe she'll look at you and maybe she'll smile." So he started dancing. As soon as he started dancing, Mother smiled. And as soon as Mother smiled, Har Har Mahadev, Har Har Mahadev. It's as if the heart of Mahadev rose like the ocean rises to the full moon. Har Har Mahadev, Har Har Mahadev. And then the blessed couple together. Mother sitting on Mahadev's lap, rode the Vrishab, the Nandi, back to Kailash. Narayani, Narayani. The divine union of Shiv and Shakti, of Chit and Sat. If Sat is Paramatma, then the Chiti is Divine Mother. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat.